You see the play?
No. Welcome to Stirring the Pot with
Gonna be first and goal, Washington.
Johnny
Big
Cleveland,
pass, Jaden Daniels.
part of the Fanatical L's Network. Fans
Nice.
first. Join us now.
First and goal on the 3.
All right. Well, hey,
Wow,
we
got
are
Monday Night Football on here.
we are stirring the pot here Monday night. There's Lou Marconi. I'm Johnny Cleveland. We are in the house.
Pot.
Oh man, Lou, how you doing?
Better than I was last night.
Uh,
I was livid. I was mad. I was mad. I think a lot of the fans were mad. A lot of everybody's upset, which I would say. And Washington just scored a touchdown. It's 20.
who scored it?
It looks like it was Jaden Daniels, a 4-yard rushing TD.
Don't tell me it's Austin Eckler because I'm in a battle for fantasy league tonight.
No,
And
it wasn't Eckler. It wasn't Eckler. It was. It
That's
looks like it was a
good.
quarterback. It was a quarterback run. It was a RPO, and he just walked right in.
Well, I needed a big day, Lou. I told you this before we started. From Josh Allen, and
Buffalo
he's come
was
through so
rolling.
far.
Yeah,
He's
it was
got
like
4
27
touchdown
to 3.
passes. Yeah, so I got my fingers crossed because here, Lou, I got the deal is so in this fantasy league we get matched up and we have the game of the week, and if we lose, we got to bring in donuts for everybody else. And I've already had to pay up once, and I got selected again, and now it was looking like I'm going to have to owe some donuts again, but I got my fingers crossed.
Well, tell them they don't need carbohydrates.
Yeah,
So that's what they don't need.
well,
But yeah,
Lou,
so
you
it's
were at the
21-10, Washington. Yeah, we were both at the game. It was really nice. I want to let the audience know and let the fans know that we had a chance to meet each other.
And he's not a jerk.
I'm not a jerk. No.
We're not jerks.
We're not jerks. We were very nice to each other. Sherry was there with us, and we were at West 6th in front of the Barley House, and we were hanging out.
Yes.
And we stopped at the chicken tacos I can't remember the name of the food truck.
They were
Those
good.
They were, man, they had a little kick to them. So I mean, that hit the spot. That hit the spot when I was really hungry too. Usually I get angry and hungry. They call it hangry. Sometimes I do. But I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good after that. But it was really nice to meet everybody. And actually, you want to tell the audience who we got to meet? And
Ken Carmen.
He knew who I was.
Favorite buddy.
He knew who I was, and he said hi to me. That's why I kind of joked on the Twitter when I had the pictures, and I said, "Hey,
Lou, my story on that," and I was trying to explain this to you yesterday.
What's that?
Right after it happened, but I hope to God that Ken Carmen doesn't. Well, the moment like he shook our hands when we first got there, right, and then we took the photo. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
And then he went around and wanted to shake our hands again. Well. I have a problem with my right hand. I got
yes. I didn't know that.
I have a slight case of cerebral palsy in my right side, so it affects my right. So throughout my entire life, I've always shaken with my left hand. Anywho, when Ken Carmen extended his hand to shake my hand again, I had a beer in my left hand, and then I had something in my right. So by the time I was going to put my beer down or something, I got beer on my hand. So he was like, I couldn't shake his hand. So he probably thinks I'm some idiot. So hopefully he doesn't walk away from that. But
no, I think it was okay. I think I joked because Sherry gave me the whole, hey, let's be nice, like the whole be nice.
Yes,
nice.
Because explain to people what you've talked about with Ken. I mean, just generally speaking, you don't have to get into details, but
yeah.
You've had a few.
No. Just a few drabs, a few barbs at him, and he was very cordial. He was very cool. I was cool too, so it was fine. We're grown men.
He's
a nice guy.
He really is, and I know, like the personalities like that. Isn't he on 92.3? And then he does some of the sports on the local TV up there,
Channel 8, yes, Fox 8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's well known. People, and people were coming up, and so. I mean, the fact is, Lou, we were with Sherry, and Sherry is the Browns fan girl, and she just knows everybody. So, like you. So that was nice.
Hang on, we got some comments here. This guy, he's going to vent. All right. Yeah. Well, okay.
What's he saying?
I
I think
can't
so.
stand Brian Dable acting cocky on us
Oh, this is
gentlemen.
the game from that
We're
they're
talking
on
about
right
the game
now.
for yeah, we'll get to that.
With the Giants
Yeah, yeah,
game.
really upset. He's really upset at the defense when, I mean, when you
Mhm.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
talking about pregame stuff, but
Lou,
it was
let me ask you. I'll just start with this, and we can get into this sort of the whole spiel. But last night I did the post game show with Jarrell, and I know you don't see all the comments in our group chat anymore. But Jarrell is really a proponent that he says that it's Stefanski's fault and that he doesn't like Stefanski's offense, and
he's free to have his opinion. That's
yeah,
fine.
and then I'm countering that with the whole, Deshaun is just a Mendel basket case. And then listening to other guys in Cleveland and the sports radio last night and then today up in Cleveland, I've heard a variety of takes, but some of it is about Stefanski and Watson and not being able to, like, Stefanski hasn't been able to figure out Watson. Like, he can take a PJ Walker, he can take a Joe Flacco, he can take other quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett, and get them into this mold that runs his offense as well. With him and Watson, it just doesn't seem like that's happening right now. And I still say that Watson is seeing ghosts. I still say that Watson just isn't reading the room. There's plenty of video out there today
Okay.
of him just missing things.
Yeah, I think what was going on, there was one that 4th and 1 was an RPO, and
Yeah.
they asked Jordan Akins in the press conference about because Akins was open, but whether Watson didn't see it, wasn't comfortable making the throw, or decided he could do it something else, that was a Watson split-second decision. So that's more on Watson. He missed that. I'm also noticing this too. If 2 things with
Hmm.
the offense, whenever a defensive line does stunts and twists, it confuses our line.
Yeah.
It breaks it down.
Yeah.
Second, in the secondary, when they change up the coverages, Watson's struggling. That's
Hmm.
what I'm noticing. So those are the 2 things I see. And it looks like Jacksonville didn't really do that too much, so they weren't struggling as much. Plus,
Well, they're
it does.
struggling tonight against the Buffalo Bills,
Well, I
by
mean,
the way.
we didn't struggle against them. I mean,
No.
yeah, they are. And I was
So
gonna go ahead. I was just
no,
gonna
I'm
make
just
a point
there's
saying
yeah.
that
You go ahead, Lou.
when you don't practice or play together and you got guys coming off of injuries, that could be what the problem is. But I'm gonna give some stats about Watson yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, let me do that because the stats really weren't that bad. He had the one strip sack, but he didn't have any interceptions. And let me pull that up. Let me pull up Watson's numbers.
Mhm.
He was 21 for 37, about a 57% completion percentage,
Mhm.
196 yards, 2
Yep.
touchdowns, 89.5 quarterback rating.
Okay.
89.5, which is
Yeah.
better than it was the week before. I mean, it wasn't horrible, not bad. I mean, that's like
Right.
it's a good game. Let me read this quarterback rating to you. Give me 1 second. Let me read. No, I'm gonna do this since people
Sure.
like to do this stuff.
Right. I
Okay.
got you.
20 25 for 33 with a 76% completion percentage,
Mhm.
163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 7 times, and 83.3 quarterback rating.
Baker Mayfield.
Yep. And he lost to the Denver Broncos.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, everybody was ready to abandon ship. I'm just making a point. If we're going to play the quarterback rating
Yep.
game, you got to do it every week.
No, right. No, I hear you. I think I mean, Deshaun Watson was not the exclusive issue yesterday, but I will
No,
say,
no, no.
but I will
He's
say
part of it. He
it's
was
just
part of it.
yeah. And I don't know. I mean, the injuries, I mean, we want to talk about injuries, I guess, for a second. Wyatt Teller is going to
Mhm.
be gone for a while.
Couple weeks, yeah, at least
Um,
multiple weeks. They didn't say how long.
Miles is day to day, but he couldn't walk yesterday pretty much after the game. Um,
It's gonna
there's
hurt.
just there it's a lot right there.
It's an ongoing story, is what it is. Um, well, let me say something else too. I mean, I was gonna say it was really nice the way the game started, and we got
Yeah,
Cooper involved. We got him
yeah,
a touchdown. It felt great. I think the turning point, because if you think about it,
oh,
was
absolutely.
we had an interception taken
Yeah,
off
yep,
the board because of a
absolutely.
100% pure horseshit.
Yeah.
It was 100% pure horseshit.
Yeah.
Anybody watching this saying that's roughing the passer,
Right.
really? It
Right.
didn't even knock him off his feet. It didn't even
Right.
knock him down. But
No.
that's roughing the passer. I've seen a lot more not get called. I've seen a lot worse not get called. And you should, or if you didn't want to be, I was expletives left and right from that, from
For
503. I
sure.
was screaming it. And I was like, it, because it just, that, because after that, they drove
But
down
then
and scored a
they
touchdown.
did, and I guess offensively they were just non-existent. The rest of that first half was so god
Yeah.
awful to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
It was 8 sacks will do that to you.
to the Giants' credit, offensively, and I know I was there some. I think Mike made some comment. I didn't read what it was exactly, but as far as what I was seeing, and I don't know from your angle what you were seeing, but that whole entire first half, especially, the Giants' offense just had everything timed just brilliantly. They knew what the Browns were going to do. They knew how aggressive they were
Yeah,
going to be.
they were doing the wide screens to avoid
Yeah, and they were just, it was a thing of beauty. And if you would have thought it was Tom Brady down there throwing little dump offs, I mean, it was Daniel Jones. I had a group of Giants fans
he
sitting
had
next to me.
236 yards. Yeah, he had two. There was one play towards the end of the half when it looked like Emerson had an interception.
Oh my God. Yeah, that play, I did. From our angle, it looked like he had the interception.
I'm
And
like,
all
oh,
of a sudden,
interception.
yeah,
Then
it,
they run
right,
down and they run a play real quick, and it's just
yeah,
like, and then they
yeah,
get down to the 5, and it's like, wait a second, we didn't get a
right,
chance to review it. What's
right,
going on?
right, right. And I heard people screaming, review it, review it. It was just a weird game because it felt so exciting at the beginning. Then for the whole first half, it was like the Dallas Cowboys
Mhm.
first half, and it was awful. And by when the fourth quarter, we got to the fourth quarter, my stepson Clay looked at me and it was like the right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, we got the ball back, and he's like,
We scored the
okay,
touchdown, the
let's
2 point
let's
conversion,
let's
and
do
we were
one.
within
Like,
10.
well, this has happened before. He says we'll give him one more drive because we were considering leaving because at that point it was still 21-7 and they weren't doing anything with the ball, and we stayed. They he hit a nice pass to Cooper, and he had a couple passes to Cooper in that sequence. A
Hmm.
beautiful pass along the sideline to get them going, and then they scored. Cooper got the touchdown, and then they went for the 2 point conversion.
Right.
They made it 21-15. All the momentum in the world. They get the ball back. The defense stepped up in the second half.
Second half, the defense played very well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I also thought too, the end of the second touchdown they got after the turnover, there was one it looked like his hand was down before the foot hit, but
yeah,
but I'm sure they reviewed it. They gave it to him. So I'm not
yeah.
sure. I didn't see the replay. So that one I'm not.
Um, well, and then just like we talked about, the deflating of the balloon. Um,
Oh,
when
the
Jerome Ford went
Jerome
there,
Ford fumbled.
yeah,
But we
midfield.
still had a chance. The missed fourth down
Oh yeah,
conversion.
we
We
get the
still
ball
had a
back
chance.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah, we still had chances at the end of the game. The defense did their job. When I
Mhm.
know Mike on the comments was bitching about the defense. Yeah, in the first half they
Mhm.
did do a lot,
Yeah.
but they had some lucky breaks, like that one play that everybody's screaming review it because it looked like Emerson came down with it, or he
Right.
didn't even come down out. He came down out of bounds, but they gave it to him, and it was just
Mhm.
like, yeah, the officiating was horrendous because Miles they finally called a holding penalty on Garrett. You know,
Mhm.
once
Yeah.
that happened once, and it's just I just thought that 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 roughing the passer was horrible. That was complete garbage,
Yeah.
and
Horseshit.
that was complete horseshit. It was, and anybody watching this would have been like, "Well, if you're a Giants fan, oh, I'll take it." Yeah, of course. If it went
Right.
our way, I would have taken it too.
Right.
But I would have been like, you got to play through, and they drove down and scored, and I was just like, oh, I would have. If to tell you the truth, maybe I'm not fit to be an NFL head coach because there's lots of times I would have been thrown out of games because of how bad officiating is in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I would. There's lots of times I would have done that, and I would have gone to the league and said, "Well, you do something about this," and then I won't have to go nuts.
Yeah.
So I
Now,
would have
Mike
said,
commented about Elijah being the weakest link needs to be released with Tillman. And now I don't know about that. I don't know what Mike you're seeing with Elijah more, but I mean Tillman. I mean, he should have caught the ball at the end of
Yeah,
the game.
that wasn't on Watson at all. That was
No,
right where it was supposed to be. He should have caught it,
there were
but he
just
didn't. But there's also there's lots of opportunities too from other guys, including Watson.
yeah. So let's
So
talk a
it's
little
a
bit
team sport.
about the discrepancy in pass plays to run plays yesterday. 37 passes, 12 rushes for the running backs. 12, 37 to 12. I
Wow.
mean, when I talked to Jarrell about that last night, he just, he does not like Stefanski's play calling, and it just
Yeah.
exacerbates what
When you're
37 and
down by
12.
14 points, you really have to throw the ball.
No, so but I guess that's where
Or two, when you're giving up sacks and you're behind
I
the
mean
chains
early
too.
on in that game they didn't. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That's what we're getting at. It's like it was 8 sacks, and they were just I heard
Yeah.
they blitzed 60% of the game. Is that Did you hear that
They
stat? That
blitzed, stunted, and twisted the whole time just to and this is gonna sound silly because when I played and I was a tackle in
Yeah,
high but I know you're gonna roll your eyes. It was high school football, but this is what I was told to do. This is the way we were coached, and this was
right.
34 years ago, okay?
Yeah,
Where you didn't if the guy took himself away, you stayed where you were at because another guy's coming.
right.
You maintain your area, step
Yes.
area, maintain your gap. That's what we were told to do. And
Hmm.
I've seen that happen a lot of times with, oh, that's my guy. I got to chase him. And that's the purpose of him doing that. He's there to take you out to open up a lane. So
Hmm.
I don't, I just didn't understand why they didn't do that. But you had Joe
What about
Batonio
these?
playing
What
left
about
tackle.
these? What about these guys that are okay? They're saying that like Martin Emerson is over. He's over his head. I don't agree with that. I don't know why people are getting there. I've heard some negativity about Martin Emerson. I think
I don't think so.
Steve Gill was talking on his show earlier today with the Dog Pound South, saying that he thinks that Martin Emerson isn't
He's free to his opinion too. So
yeah, no,
but
I don't. I was surprised that, and I heard that from on the radio from a few people too. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't watch the game on video. I don't know what they were seeing that what we were missing, and maybe
yeah.
I don't recall him missing much. I mean, he got it. That he didn't get the interception, but he was that damn close to getting an interception. So, I to be
Yeah. I
honest, I think Martin Emerson has been around the ball more than most of our corners. When you're talking about interceptions, he's dropped a few this year already. A couple opportunities.
yeah. Yeah. He's had a few that were there and we've had opportunities for interceptions and turnovers. I know getting the fumbles. Each side had two turnovers. So and then we only had 5 penalties too. It was the sacks that killed
Yeah.
us. The
Well,
sacks that killed us.
16 sacks ties the record with Brandon Whedon for most
16
sacks.
in
16 through 3 games.
through 3 games. Is it?
For
I
through,
thought it was 15. I thought it was 15. You might be right.
I heard
Um,
that last night that they said it tied the record with Brandon Whedon, a great former
yeah,
quarterback of the Browns.
yeah, yes. Everybody loved him. Uh, oh geez,
16.
16, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Um, I'm I'm just now let me ask you this because you wrote an article today
Okay.
about the 86 Brownies.
Cleveland
You want to
Browns.
talk a little bit about that because you and I were big fans back in 1986 of that
Well, it's
team.
funny what I wrote in the article too. Some people reading this might not be old enough to even remember or be alive when this was 38 years ago.
Yeah.
They opened the season against the defending world champion Chicago Bears in Chicago, and
Yes.
they lost by 10. The
Yep.
next week they went to Houston and they beat the Oilers 23-20.
Uh-huh.
And this is back in the day when it was the Houston Oilers. And then the next week they had a Thursday night home opener
Thanks, Mike.
against. Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. They did the uh, Thursday night football, and
Yeah.
they hosted Cincinnati, and they lost
Right.
that game 31-13
Oh my gosh.
or something. Yes,
Sure.
31.
Yeah.
They looked horrible.
Yeah.
They were, and this is a team with Ozzie Newsome, Bernie Kosar, Ernest Biner, Kevin Mack.
Yes. Coming off
You
the
know,
85 season when
coming
they
off
went
the
to the
80.
playoffs, when they played the Miami Dolphins, they had the lead, they
We had,
lost, but it was just the start of
we had
things. Yeah,
Webster Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne. We had all these guys. Well, I don't know if Langhorne was on that team or not, but we had a lot of great players. We had the
yeah,
defense with your Clay Matthews, Carl Harrison, you know, Felix
right.
Wright, and Anthony and Frank Minifield, Hanford Dixon. I mean, this was the team we had, and they got throttled. They went out there and they got throttled by
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals. And I remember just the people being down and negative, which is it's going to happen when, especially when you lose like that to your rival on your home stadium. I think 2 weeks later they did something that hasn't been done in 16 years. They beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
They ended
Huge.
the Three Rivers
That was
streak.
huge at the time.
Yeah, so there's opportunities still. I mean, it's still, my point was like, hey guys, it's still early.
Hmm.
And actually, Jordan Akins made a point. He was Deshaun's teammate
Good point. Yeah.
in Houston in 2019 when they went 0-3 and they won 11 in a row.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
anything could happen. And transversely, Pittsburgh was 11-0 in 2020.
Oh, I
Um,
remember that for sure. Yeah. I mean that that made that whole season in 2020 even more special and coming
yeah,
back.
because we beat them. We ended their season. Yeah, we
All
beat
right,
them in
now the
Pittsburgh.
Squealers are 3-0.
Okay.
Are you worried about not at this point, this part of the
No,
season? No.
no, I'm not saying it. Like, I mean, San Francisco's 1-2,
Yeah,
and they have injury problems.
yeah. So
So
there were a lot of games yesterday where teams won on the road. It was a very weird week of football again. There were the
and
Saints
you got
lost at home to
Washington
Philly.
winning in Cincinnati right now at
Yeah,
halftime, 21-8. So
yeah. Which is good for us in the AFC. Just a lot of strange games. The Buccaneers, who everybody thought Baker was the hot quarterback, they laid an egg at home.
mhm.
Um,
He was sacked 7 times in that game too.
he was sacked 7 times. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably the most for him in a game. I can't remember the last time he.
Not that I know, not that I recall.
Because
No,
I
I
would
mean,
always kind of look, and here's the thing about Watson too with the sack stuff. I mean, you go back and look at it, Lou, and when you get a chance, you've probably looked at this before. But Watson is very susceptible because of all the running that he does
and he
of
holds on
getting
to the ball.
of
He
getting
holds on to the
sacked
ball. Yeah.
more than any other quarterback in the league, and it's really driving people crazy. Browns fans have always been driven crazy by their quarterbacks, and this latest one is just driving everyone batty. I mean, I don't know about you, Lou. I work at a school with a bunch, hundreds of different people and kids and adults and Browns fans. There's a lot more of them here than there were when I was in Kansas. But I mean, they're all saying the same thing that we're all talking about. They're so frustrated. Most of them think that Watson just needs to hit the road. And
Yeah. That's the thing to do, is just get rid of everybody. Yeah.
no, but I mean, but it's a common feeling, Lou, and I mean, to get over that. How do you like? I'm not saying that we should get rid of them right now, but I mean, this whole narrative continues to be. I don't know. I mean, it's
I see. Go ahead.
no. I get okay. Well, here let's quickly pause for a break, and then I want to ask you about this road trip coming up and your thoughts on that. Here we're stirring the pot. That's Lou. I'm Johnny or John, whatever. We'll be right back after these commercial messages, part of the Fanatical Elves Network and Fans First.
Mhm.
We are back. Thank you for tuning in here on the Fanatical Elves. We are stirring the pot. That's Lou Marconi, Johnny Cleveland here. So I also want to give a shout out to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They shake the hand of the farmer. Awesome coffee, Mechanicsburg, Ohio. Check them out. It's a link on our X page. We get 15% if you go and purchase coffee off that link. So please go check that link out on the X page. We've had a lot of people looking at our page. I haven't looked this week, but we had a lot. Like, many people had been hitting the website, but they haven't purchased. So you need to go buy this coffee. It's amazing. I've been buying it for like 6 years now with my wife. We don't want to drink anything else. It's really good stuff.
Mhm.
Lou, so the Browns go on the road for 3 weeks.
Right.
I I've been saying since last night. I think this is. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that when a team goes out on the road, they have to kind of come together in certain ways because they're traveling. They're,
Yeah.
will this could this potentially be what the Browns really need right now? Because I don't know about you at halftime last night, but there were a lot of boo birds raining down on that field as the team
And
was.
rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah, and let me just ask you that before we get into this whole stuff about the road trip. But I get annoyed by these people on social media who are countering us by saying they're saying you're saying like it's rightfully so we should boo them, and then other people are
Yeah.
saying we should be embarrassed as Browns fans. I'm like, no, why are we being embarrassed as Browns fans? That
No,
team
they
played
deserve
like
it.
shit
They played like shit, and they
in
deserve
the
it.
first
Yeah.
half. Yeah,
Boo all
and
you
so
want. Yeah.
I
It's happened in any stadium. It's not just here.
yeah,
I mean, God, haven't they been anywhere else? I mean,
no, and yeah. Anyway, okay. So this three-game road
that's
trip.
such horror. It's so stupid.
What do you think's going to happen? I mean, I know we can't predict every game, but
No, well, I do
what
know that
do you think?
Max Crosby's banged up from what I heard, but I don't know his extent of his injuries. And that the starting safety, their best defensive player outside of Crosby, tore his ACL yesterday. He's out for the year.
Ooh, okay,
Raiders, yeah, and I know the Raiders. They always give us problems, and it's in their home stadium.
yeah,
But I do like Stefanski's records after a loss.
right.
Um, I'm hoping that we can. I thinking we should be able to get better and bounce back. But also, I mean, if you got this line with this that's just like a mash unit right now. What are you going to do? I mean, we thought Conklin was going to play, but then he has a hamstring issue, and then maybe Wells wasn't ready to come back.
No,
You know,
Wills looked
Dewan
awful. I mean,
Dewan Jones looked awful.
Dewan
Maybe
looked
he was.
just, yeah,
Yeah, they looked awful. The tackles played horrible, and it's to the point now. It's like, well, what are we? And James Hudson's hurt, so it's like, what are we going to do? So that's the only thing that concerns me is that they got to figure that out, and there's a way
And
to do it. But everybody
would
else,
it be
it's
better? Would it be better? I mean, with the run game, which was non-existent yesterday, would
no.
no.
Couple spurt runs, but that's it. Nothing consistent.
But what if this team, okay, with a beat up offensive line, do you think we could establish any sort of run game going into these next few games? Or do you think Stefanski, see, this is where Jarrell Flint, our colleague, and I were talking. Again, he doesn't think that Stefanski
He's been saying that for
understands.
months.
I
Yeah,
know,
just
I
doesn't know
know,
him.
I
Yeah,
know. But
which is
it's
fine. He can say whatever he wants.
no, I just like this team is just not going anywhere offensively right now.
No,
We've been scoring 15 points, 18 points. Um, we got to start scoring more touchdowns.
we got to score more points. We got to move the sticks. We got to take time off the clock. We got to give our defense a chance to catch its breath because our defense played good enough in the second half to win that
Mhm.
game.
Yeah,
Absolutely, they made the adjustments. They because in the first half, give Washington. I mean, the Giants credit. They came out and
yeah,
they game planned very well. I mean, these are NFL players. These are
yeah,
NFL coaches. These guys are not, the records are one thing, but they're still very capable of getting the job done. And
right.
so are we. So it just came down to we were in a position to make plays to get the game, and we didn't do it.
Now, so I watched the Raiders, some of the presser with the coach. He was annoyed with some players. He said were making business decisions toward the end of that game where they lost, and he described some of his players that he was pissed off with as making business decisions. And so he was going on and saying,
What do
"We're
you
going
mean?
to be making some business decisions this next week."
So is he going to be benching guys or not
Yes,
playing
in
them?
essence, he's basically telling his players, "You better get it in gear, or you're going to be sitting your ass on the bench, or we're going to release you, or whatever they're going to do." But
I'm
you know,
wondering who he was talking about, what he was talking about. That's
I
interesting.
don't know. I didn't watch the game, but he was. It was in his presser after the game,
Now,
and
didn't they lose to Carolina? Is that right? They
yes,
lost big to
they
Carolina. Yeah.
lost to Andy Dalton. I think I won a fan duel. My son and I bet on a couple of things there that we had Andy Dalton throwing for more than 32 passes, and he did.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, Carolina's, wins this game. Now we've got Vegas, who's already, they got a coach that's mad. Hope their players are probably mad. So this doesn't bode well for the Browns going into Vegas. What do you think?
Just because they're mad.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I
that's what
mean, it's just I mean,
that's
they're
just
everybody's mad. I always liked what the old Steeler, the former Brown, and the late Steelers coach said. If I have to motivate you, then you're in the wrong business. It's not my job. I'm
right.
here to coach you. The players could be mad if they're being called out by their coach, and they could come out and play hard.
Yeah.
I honestly, you could. I mean, the
Mhm.
Raiders have always given us problems,
Mhm.
and it's a tough place to win in,
You
to go
remember
on
the
the road.
last time we played out there?
In Vegas?
Or not Vegas, but were they
It was Oakland. Yeah, it was the black hole. Yeah, it was.
do you remember the last game out there with Chubb and all that craziness? Remember how we
Yeah,
lost
yeah,
the game when we should have won it because they didn't the fumble and they
yeah,
didn't remember that and we came out of the with the ball and it was an
yeah.
obvious fumble and we would have I think we
Yep.
were
Yeah, yeah.
winning.
It was just bullshit. More bullshit from the refs. So,
Well, this goes
so
back. This memory. I mean, you also
was
know that the Vegas.
that was
I mean, the Raiders.
2018. That was 2018. Yeah,
Well, and it goes back to 1980, 81. You and I both know that you were a little bit younger than I was, but I was
I
12 at the
remember it.
time. And the Ice Bowl, and basically, Brian Sipe throws the interception to Ozzie. So this is all Vegas, or not Vegas,
Mhm.
but the Raiders. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking about going into this
yeah,
game. That
yep.
would be a good topic. You should write on that game. I've written on that a few times. I
I
think
might.
I think
I
you've
think I
written
have.
one on that.
I've
Yeah,
written one about the cardiac kids. I know I did. I could
yeah,
talk about that. I could talk about that again. Thank you. I might do that tomorrow. Might
yeah.
as well. No,
Well,
to me,
you are. By the way, folks, that you like Lou's writing. He is a journalist degree from Cleveland
yes,
from Cleveland State University.
my
So
degree's not on the wall though.
yeah, but he is actually a journalist. Now, here's the thing, Lou.
Oh well, I mean,
I had an uncle. I
be
my
a
uncle,
journalist. You don't need a
my
degree, but
well, the Sioux Chans. I had my uncle. He was a editor with the Akron Beacon Journal back in the day. And
cool.
my mom who died many years ago, she was also a Kent State alum and journalism degree, and she wrote for
Mhm.
local papers around the area. And where I before she died, we were living in Worcester, Ohio, and so she wrote
Yeah.
for the
Can
local. Yeah,
Can I tell a quick story about my writing? Because
no,
you were
no.
bringing up about me writing. No, I'm not allowed to.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, absolutely, Lou. I'm stirring the
No, no,
pot, man.
he was asking me about like because you brought it up with your son when we were talking.
Yeah.
You thought it was Kent. And I said it's actually I graduated from Cleveland State in '99.
Yes, I for some reason I was thinking Kent. So yeah,
No, no, no. I graduated from Cleveland State, which is fine. I just went, but I was just making a point. Was like it wasn't. I can't remember if it was a Tri C or Cleveland State. I think it was Tri C. I was doing a writing class because it was one of my early. It was an early because I did my prerequisites at Tri C in the
yeah,
Western campus, and I said, and it was, and all my English teachers in high school told me you could be a great writer. You're very
mhm,
creative, blah blah blah. And I
yeah,
was taking a class because
yeah,
I wanted to be involved in TV and journalism, and you got to know how to write. You got to
right,
articulate
yeah,
yourself on a piece of paper. So the first assignment this teacher told us to do, it was a class of about 30 of us, said, "Hey, write me 50 words, no more than 50 words, but a quick paragraph. If you could have one wish granted to you, what would it be and why?"
hmm okay,
And I turned it in. And then the next time we had class, he came back, he pulled me aside and he goes, "Do you mind if I read yours to the class?"
yeah,
And I said, "No, I don't mind at all."
sure,
And he just kind of he read it. And you want to know what I wrote?
yes, I do. Well, yes, I think everybody
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
know.
Okay, okay. My name is Louis Angelo Marconi. That was my birth
hmm
name.
hmm
My grandfather was the first Louis Angelo Marconi, my father's father. Okay.
hmm
When I was 10 months old, he died.
hmm
I never got to know him.
hmm
So my wish was to get to know him.
hmm
The man that I was named after, if I could spend one day with him, that would
Yes,
be great. That
yeah,
was it. That was what
very
I wrote. And
cool.
I said,
Yeah,
and he thought it was cool. He thought it was really
yeah,
nice. Other people had other stuff that was very superfluous, if you want to use that word.
sure.
What one guy had a really funny one. He said he would motorboat Dolly Parton, which was great. I said, "That's good.
Yeah.
That might be mine."
Yeah.
But most people ask for money, fame, all this other
Right.
shit,
Right.
and and you know what he said? And it would kind of reminded me because at the time, no, I think this was Cleveland State because I remember because there was an X Files episode that had me in a different
Oh.
mindset, and
Uh-huh.
I'll explain it. Remember
Sure.
the X Files with David
Yes, of
Duchovny,
course. Yes. Yep.
and
Yep.
whatever her Gillian Anderson, that was her
Yes.
name. God, long time show. Okay, anyway, we could talk. Man, Washington just scored a touchdown. All right, um, so just what it was
Squirrel.
is, yeah, squirrel got distracted. So what it was, but no, what he told me, what you're right with two things. You're right with your head and you're right with your heart. Right
Yeah.
about what you know and
Wait,
right
which
within your
direction were
heart.
you pointing there? I'm sorry. What?
My head and my heart. My
I'm
heart.
sorry.
Yeah, my point, my junk.
I'm sorry. It's a
My head.
story of the pot moment Monday
Yes,
night.
yes, it was.
I had to say something. Wait, okay. Back
But
to
no, no,
reality
but
here.
that's what he
Okay.
said. But people
Yeah.
people were really like they were taken back a little bit by it because they kind of felt a little small for what they wanted. And I
How
said to
small,
the
Lou?
like that one. Yes,
I'm
yes.
okay. Oh,
So,
this is
but
wait. This isn't the Pretty River Browns talk with Sherry right now. It's actually our show. Wait.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. I
yeah,
think I'm
yeah,
in the
yeah.
wrong. I'm in
You're
the
in the wrong
wrong.
show. You're in the wrong show. No, so what it was, so really, and I explained to the class, I said, does anybody watch the X Files? And they said, like some few people did. I said, did you see there was an episode with there was a genie.
Mhm.
It was one that there was the woman was an actual genie,
Okay.
and David Duchovny's character had three wishes.
Yeah.
And he asked for stuff and he kind of tried to think it through and do all this. And what the genie always said was, she said, I've been doing this for thousands of years and all the people are the same. They ask for the same stupid stuff and they don't
Yeah.
get anywhere with it because they're too stupid to no, she said
Yeah.
this. It's great.
Right.
They're too dumb and ignorant and completely clueless to understand, appreciate your life for what it is instead of worrying about what it's not.
Right.
That's
Right.
really what it was. So I kind of said, if I really could, if I had her in front of me and I had one, what would
Mhm.
I do? And that would have been it.
Yeah.
But now the thing, because everybody in the episode she encountered got what they wanted, and there was major consequences to it.
Right.
That's what it was to it. So with David Duchovny's third wish, he first asked for he asked for like peace on earth, and everybody was gone. Like there was no
Oh.
people.
Oh.
And she's like, really? Did you think you were that grotesquely egotistical that you could end all wars? Or so it was really. So then he wished everything back to be back the way it was before, and then he had one
Okay.
last wish, and he wished her free.
Oh.
That's what he
Okay.
did. And she said what she would do if she was free, she would just sit down, have a cup of coffee, and watch the world go by.
She
That's what she said she'd do. I just thought that was interesting because it gives you a different perspective
she'd
on life.
have
So that, yeah,
no. That's I love that story. And
and it's true.
she could
It's true.
have she could do a
Mhm.
coffee joke with Johnny Cleveland.
She
Have
could do. She could do. Yeah, she was. I'm sure it was Hemisphere Coffee Roasters what she was drinking
yeah,
too. I'm
who
sure it
shake the hands
was.
of the coffee roasters. Thank you,
Yes.
Hemisphere Coffee
Thank you,
Roasters.
Hemisphere.
And
We gotta
Lou,
put
thank
that
you
in.
for graduating from Cleveland State. And that's a fantastic story.
Well, no, it's true though. I mean,
Well, I mean,
it's
I think, but
exactly what happened.
I think that's what we're getting. I mean, okay, I
We're
know
getting it.
we're really getting
We're
philosophical in this show
well,
tonight.
but it's kind. I think we kind of need it.
But
I
okay,
think we kind of
but
do.
okay. So let me just let's finish with this question because let's talk about. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah. I
seems
just thought I'm just glad I just
no,
wanted
but
to
I
add
think
that.
let's maybe wrap things up here in a minute. But I think
Sure.
the team's got all sorts of issues. I
Yes,
guess
that's true. Absolutely, they do.
one of the big topics, and maybe we can talk about this philosophically and just however you want to. Kevin Stefanski's in year number 5. There's been a lot of chatter about Kevin Stefanski today.
He just signed an
Just
extension, so I don't know
well,
if he's going
I
anywhere.
know that, but I guess what I'm getting at more is this whole thing with how the offense looks.
Hmm.
Ken Dorsey, who got hired to be the offensive coordinator, Deshaun Watson. I just like, how is this going to fix it? Is it going to fix itself? What's going to happen next? I mean, that's what I want to know.
If I knew what would happen next, I'd win the lottery. No, I'm kidding.
We need to bring that genie back.
Bring the genie back. Yes, I would say this. It would be something extremely catastrophic for there to be a change with the front office and coaching. And I'm
Yeah.
talking like God, because look at what they've done before versus what's happening now. Because I think Haslam's smart enough to know when he has good people in places like, okay, this isn't going well. What are we
Right.
doing? How are we going to fix this?
Okay.
What's the plan? So I
So
think
yeah.
yeah, I could see them like for instance, 2022 did not go well. What was the weakness? Defensive line. What did they do? Defensive tackle specifically. They
Mhm.
fixed it. So I
Okay.
could see them attacking the offensive line this offseason the same way.
Okay.
So
I think that's like we talked about last night in the post game show too, where the team is like they're better than they have been since '99. So
yeah,
now we've been dealing with a team that's kind of good, mediocre, better than mediocre. I mean, Jarrell and I were referring back to what happened in 2020. You go to the playoffs, and then you get the next 2 years, you go sub 500, sub 500, and you had a lot of
it,
personalities on those teams. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., Baker Mayfield, all these players. So sub 500, sub 500. Now you get back in the playoffs. Now sitting at 1-2. There's a long season ahead. Many things could happen. I think, overall, I mean, Stefanski, I feel is in a good spot. I think he does a lot of really good things.
mhm.
Um, but like even Ken Carman this morning, Lou. I don't know if you heard Ken Carman's comment about Stefanski, but he
No,
basically said what he said was is that Kevin Stefanski is not your fiery locker room kind of coach, even though
it's not
you
how
might
he is. He's
right,
never done like that.
and he's
No,
never gonna be that way. We don't necessarily need that, but
not always. No.
his question still is, how do we fix Stefanski and Deshaun? They can't figure it out, and
Yeah,
he was like questioning the whole thing, like, is it more Watson or is it more Stefanski? I
I can't tell you that. I wish I knew the answer. Like like I
think it's
said,
another good topic for you to write on.
is it just the line or is it just and like I said, people were wondering what was wrong with Amari Cooper, and he had a good game. So
Mhm.
and actually Watson had a good game, but I I think the offense needs to figure it out as a whole, including Stefanski
Mhm.
and Watson. I think they need to figure it's a team. It's not just one guy. And like that loss yesterday, you can't just pin it on Cedric Tillman. You can't just pin it on Jerome Ford. You can't just pin it on Deshaun Watson
Yeah.
or or Martin Emerson or this, that, or the other. It's a team thing. So
Mhm.
um I think the offense, what they need to do is get healthy, which is easier said than done, and they
Mhm.
need to play and practice and get in sync. And
Mhm.
even like I don't know if you heard Stefanski's press conference today,
Not
because
no.
he kind of said he said it's everybody. The sacks is not just Watson or just the line; it's all of
Mhm.
us, including the
Mhm.
coaches. So it's kind of like, hey, we're in this together. So I think that's the mentality they
Did he
have,
say he has to fix everything? It's his. He's the coach. He's got to fix everything. Did he
pretty
say that
much,
again?
yeah.
It's like a loop, a reel that keeps.
Yeah.
They were. I
He's not
saw
he's
something.
not gonna he said what he said that Myles Garrett was day to day, and I'm like, okay. I kinda cringed when he said that. I was
Yeah.
like, but I mean, everybody's dealing with injuries like Cincinnati lost their starting right tackle tonight.
Yeah. Who did?
Yeah, Cincinnati did.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they
Okay.
did. He looked like his knee kinda gave underneath him when getting a
Oh.
bull rushed on a pass play.
Hmm.
And, I mean, it's the NFL, man. Shit happens. It's
Yeah. A
it's the
lot.
NFL.
Well,
It's just
final thoughts tonight, Lou. What do you got? Anything that you want to cover before we say
Well,
sayonara?
no, it's just guys, it's like I said, my point with the reason why I wrote the article I wrote about the Raiders, because I'm probably going to do a preview article
Mhm.
about the game, and I could do one about the infamous Froze Ice Bowl game. My brother
Mhm.
was at the game, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
He was
I was
11.
watching on my couch. I was a sixth grader, and I cried. I had never cried before.
I was a
It was
fifth
my
grade. I was a
first.
first grader. No,
Yeah,
second grade. I was in second grade. Yeah, I
yeah. I
was in
think I got
second
a
grade.
couple of years on you, but
Yeah, I was in second grade when that happened. It was I remember my dad being really upset. And I kind of like wasn't sure what happened. I'm like, "Are we gonna win?" He goes, "No." I was like, "Sorry, Dad.
yeah.
Sorry."
Well,
But
a long time in that. Yeah.
it's a long season. I mean, we could be back here next Monday to say, "Hey, we won." Well, what do we do now? So
Sure.
it could be.
Yeah,
Um,
and we get to play what Vegas next week, and then these Washington Commanders
and
that
they're
are
looking good
beating up.
tonight.
Yeah.
They're beating up Cincinnati and they're winning. So yeah,
Mm.
I mean, Burrow's getting hit too. So I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, yeah, I mean, we play the schedule game all the time, and I kind of got caught up in doing that. I
Yeah.
should maybe. I'm not going to make predictions anymore.
Right.
I'm just gonna say, hey guys, you know, I do like Stefanski after a loss because he has a very solid record after losses and bye weeks.
Right.
So well, it's an
Right.
opportunity. It's an opportunity. Every game's an opportunity to get better. And
Well, and that's what makes us, Browns fans will come back.
oh, we'll be back.
we'll have hope. We'll continue to plan
And
on
I talked to
winning.
Harvey. We go halves on season tickets.
Yep.
We did last year. We did this year, and he kind of made the comment in the rapid on the way back. He said, "I think I want to stick around with this at least till we get to Brook Park."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's going to come up. We were talking about that yesterday. So 2029 would be the first year for the dome, correct? Is that what we're
Yes.
projecting? Okay,
Yes.
because the lease is up in 2028. So
At the
that
end of
would
the
leave that's
2028
four
season.
more
Yep.
seasons down at the lakefront after
Yep.
this year. Four
After
more.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And you know what? You know what? I've heard things about it, like people talk about curses and this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I've heard. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not the team, but the land that the stadium's on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, and it's like considering all the problems that they've had with it, wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if that's the issue. Not necessarily that the team itself, but I did hear for a while there the Indians were, and they played there. And it wasn't until I think it was like 07 or 08 when it was lifted. From what I understood, and I'm not going to go into details about how I know that because the same person that did that did it for the Red Sox, for Cubs too. So supposedly, if you believe in that or not, you can because she went to Dick Jacobs about it back in '96.
Yeah,
and he didn't believe in it. He wouldn't do it. And she's telling him, she told him she was never win a World Series. She told them that. And they should have won it in 97. That's for sure. They should have won it in 97.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I know. People were, yeah. That's why when they did that Believe Land thing, I watched it.
Yeah.
And I got mad.
Yeah.
I got mad watching it. But then when they 6 weeks later after the Cavs won, it's like, okay, now I can watch it. Because I just watched the last 15 minutes when we did win and we had
did win. We actually won that. So
well, that's why when people kind of hang their head and say we're Cleveland, and I'm like, well, did when we were down 3-1 Golden State Warriors, did we change the name of the town for a week?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
No, we were still Cleveland then. So shut the fuck up.
Right.
Let's we got
That's right.
Yeah, that's just we're stirring the pot here.
Oh, well,
that's what we call the episode. Shut the fuck up and suck it up.
That's right. Hey, have a good night, Lou.
You too.
We'll have a bunch of shows coming up this week. We got
just Jarrell.
Oh, Jarrell,
yeah.
We talked about those stats. All right, Jarrell. We'll see you guys. Hey, Thursday night we'll have a Fanatical Elf show. Lou might be there. Jarrell might be there. The whole gang might be there. So
we can all argue with each other.
That's right. That's right. It'll be entertainment.
Play calling,
folks,
curses on land.
We really appreciate all of you guys following us. And I've got my hoarse throat here. The Fanatical Elves.
My potty mouth. Your hoarse throat and my potty mouth.
That's right. No, but we really appreciate your following us. Please spread the word about the Fanatical Elves Network to your friends and family. Tell them to watch us here. Mm-hmm. Listen to us on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. We're the Elves Network. Find us everywhere. Download us on Apple, Spotify. We're growing. Our downloads, Lou, are up a lot this last couple of weeks. So we really appreciate you tuning into our shows.
I appreciate each and every one. And the thing is, this isn't work to me. I enjoy this.
Yep.
This is something I enjoy. If you find
we're not in this for the money, folks.
No.
We enjoy talking Browns. Thank you for the comments.
Everybody I'm in it for the FaceTime. Yeah, that's
well.
I'm kidding.
And Ken, I don't do this. Ken Carmen, your dream come true, Lou.
Oh yes.
All right, guys, take care. See y'all later.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. See ya.
Oh, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. We'll be
We'll
back.
be back next week. See ya.
Absolutely. We're not going anywhere.